I think I need some more shelving space, especially since that came in. What's going on, RC drivers? I've got something special for you guys today. We got a boat in, a very big boat. It's the Pro Boat Blackjack 42. This thing is an awesome brushless, ready to run catamaran that runs on ADAS. I can't wait to show it to you. Let's head over to the bench for a closer look. Look at the size of this boat. When I got it, I opened this thing up right in the driveway. My wife took a picture of me. I posted it on Instagram and it got like 3,000 likes, close to 3,000 likes in 24 hours. It just really grabbed a lot of attention, and rightfully so. This thing looks killer. They did awesome on the graphics package. It's available in this white molded hull, and they also have a black version as well. There it is on the box in the background. That thing looks cool as well. I heard it looks really awesome in person, but I'm really excited about the white one because the water here in the Northeast is kind of murky, kind of dark, so I think this thing is going to pop off the water. And speaking of popping off the water, it's an 8S powered boat, so that means this thing is going to rip. I can't wait to see how fast it is. They're claiming it goes 55 miles an hour on the box, but this thing is loaded with some really cool features. But let's start really diving into the details here. And I want to start off with the graphics package because it is killer. There's two different schemes. The black one has a kind of a spotted theme to it, but I like the tear theme here on this. The red and black really pop on this, and the graphics, the blackjack graphics are very cool. It's printed, so this is printed right on the polycarbonate hull. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And the side here has a decal on it, and I think it's kind of just to help hide that seam a bit, which I think is really cool. But overall, really cool looking graphics package. ProBoat, they do a great job with it. I mean, look at the extra details here. They've got number graphics as well. The only gripe I have, and we're going to start kind of early with a gripe here, is look at the windshield. It's kind of off from the molding lines. It's set off a little bit, and I'm guessing that they print the plastic first and then put it on the mold. But unfortunately with mine, they kind of missed the mark here. And there are some decals that I think might hide it, so I'll check that out. But just something I wanted to point out. Not a big deal when you're standing farther back from it, and especially when it's on the water, you're not going to notice it. But I'm going to have this thing on display here, so I kind of want everything to be perfect. Anyway, that's my small gripe for now. As you can see, there are thumb screws, 4 thumb screws that hold on the canopy, and it's of course got a foam seal underneath it. I like that setup for this style of boat because obviously it's a higher powered boat. I want that canopy to stay on there. And now let's talk about the hull. This is a plastic hull. It's a polycarbonate hull, high impact. And this has some people talking about the boat online, and some people are cool with it, some people are not cool with it. And those who are experienced in the hobby, in boating, are not too thrilled with it. They wanted to see fiberglass, but my guess here is ProBoat is trying to keep the cost down. And I know this boat is listed at $599.99, and some people aren't happy about the price. But this is a lot of boat. There is a big power system in this boat. There is a smart technology in this boat. So you kind of start adding things up, and the cost does get up there. And, you know, ProBoat is a business. You know, it is your hobby. You want it to be cheap. However, they have to pay their costs as well. And I think this is worth it, especially for the fun factor you're going to get out of it. A large boat that goes 55 miles an hour, which has a smart electronics in there, which we're going to talk about. I think it's worth it. I just wanted to throw it out there because there is a lot of talk about it on both sides, where people are happy with it and people are not happy with the price or the hull style. But, you know, in going over this boat, that's my job. I think they did it right. This boat does seem to be very rigid. Now, this is a thicker polycarbonate hull, so that it's not like the thinner polycarbonate hulls or, ABS hulls that we've seen on other boats before. This is a bit more sturdy, and it has an inner skeleton. And again, I'll show you that in a little bit. But back to the outside of the boat here. The seam here is sealed really well. Let me flip this over. I do have this off. I do have the canopy off, so I can show you guys the inside later. But let me see if I can flip this over for you so you can see the bottom of the hull, the tunnel area of the catamaran, the steps on the back here. Everything is done really well. I mean, that's about as sharp as you could get for a molded hull on the line. lines here. Everything seems to be pretty smooth. There is a little bit of ridging going on in the center here. I mean, these are your ride pads, so I'm not too worried about the little ridging from when they adhere the inner skeleton to the polycarbonate hull. But overall, I think the lines look really good on here. The ride pad area looks really good. I think it's going to work really well, and from what I've heard, it works really, really well. While I have the boat flipped over, let me start talking about some of the other features. All right, this is the first thing I want to show you here. They have this gasket on the bottom for the exit tube, and as you can see, it's got a nice smooth bend to it, so there's not going to be too much friction in there, but I think this is very cool. I mean, a lot of boats have this stuffing tube glued into it, and so if you ever have to replace it, it's a real pain. However, this slides right in and seals it up, so I think it's going to be easier in case you ever have to replace it. Pretty neat setup there. And then you can see the strut. It's got a nice knife edge to it. We'll get into the running hardware. It is bushing supported. Of course, we've got a nylon tube inside to support the flex shaft, reduce friction as well. Then we'll get out to the prop out back. And I didn't see what the specs are on the prop, the pitch or anything. I will add that down in the description if I could find out what it is. But I do like that they have a double nut there to help keep the prop on, make everything nice and sturdy. And now let me flip the boat back over so we could talk about some other details. All right, as you can see, we've got nice machined aluminum hardware on here, stainless steel screws from what I could tell. And they even have a shear screw, so if you run up on shore and hit the rudder up against something, or there's some debris in the water, that shear screw will just break basically and allow this to pop up so there's less damage to your boat. So, you know, that's pretty much a standard now, but the running hardware does look nice. Let me spin it around so you can kind of see. They do have a bushing in here for the pin for the rudder, so that'll spin nice and smooth rather than a steel shaft binding inside of this aluminum mount. So that should stay free and smooth. I mean, steering is important on a boat. The rudder itself, nicely anodized, this kind of coppery orange. As you can see, we've got pickups in the bottom. It is knife edge. They even machine it to a point on the bottom to reduce drag, and there are two outlets here. So as you can see, one's already used and the other is a spare in case you want to go and split this cooling system up and cool your motor separate from your speed controller. I'm guessing that they found that a single tube does work well for the system, but that is an option if you want to go and modify your model. Let's see here. So the steering rod, nice bulky steering rod. We've got a rubber boot on the exit here to keep water out of the hull. All the hardware is captured with lock nuts, so that's really good to see. I mean, everything you would want in running hardware on a catamaran is here. And finally, on the transom, we've got the drain plug. So if you do get some water inside, just pop that out, drain all the water out. Good looking stuff so far. Now it's time to get into the boat. And obviously you can see all these black lines in here. That's actually the inner skeleton. It's a molded composite plastic, and it really helps sturdy up the bottom of this boat. As you can see, it's adhered to the center, and then it goes down into the battery channels. So it's all one piece. So it's really creating this ultra rigid structure here. And this is where your flex is going to be. I mean, yes, there's some flex up top here, but you know, all the hits are going to be taken down on the bottom where this thing's riding on the water, and this is sturdy. I mean, I'm pushing here. I'm pushing on this thing just so you guys could see, and let me pull in on this so you could see that there isn't a lot of flex. You can see my muscles working in my hand, but there's not a lot of flex in the bottom of this boat. So I think it's going to hold up well. Those people that were talking about it being plastic and they were worried about the flex, hopefully I showed you that there isn't a lot of flex there. All right, with that said, again, there's your battery channels here. We've got 3 straps so you can move your battery forward and backward to adjust the bias. Both sides have the battery straps, obviously. Let me spin this thing around. I'm gonna do a lot of spinning on this boat, I think. In the transom area, we do have another composite brace assembly that is part of the main brace. So, you know, again, it's keeping the transom area nice and rigid as well. And then underneath, they even have additional supports to help firm up the side of the boat and help secure where the deck and hull secure together. So everything is, I think, really well braced for this plastic boat. All right, now let's get into some more of the running hardware stuff. So there is our stuffing tube, and this is very cool right here. See this little cap? It's basically actually a guard so you don't get grease all over the inside of your boat. And it has a nice little access hatch. It's just a simple body clip, and you could go and access your collet there, and you could see the flex shaft inside. That's a massive flex shaft in there, but that's how you gain access to the collet when you need to take it apart to remove the shaft in order to grease the stuffing tube. So I really like that because I have not been a fan of cleaning grease off of the inside of my hulls. Moving on, the inner skeleton is also part of the motor mounting assembly, so you could see the mounting bosses come up here. The motor supported in the front and in the back as well, and it mounts directly to an aluminum motor mount, so that's cool. Nice and rigid there. And let me see, let me not get into the electronics just yet. Let me go back here to the servo. There is the servo mount, also part of the inner skeleton of this boat, so that is nice and rigid as well. And the other thing that I want to talk to you about is the little details throughout. Again, before we get into electronics, I want to talk about more little details that I found on this. Look at the little retainers here for the water tube. Really cool. Rather than this thing bouncing around or getting in the way of you swapping out the batteries or anything like that, this keeps everything nice and tidy. And even the wire from the speed controller here is held down with little clips. So they went into all this little extra detail to keep everything nice and neat in this boat. And I think I really like that extra detail. Just checking out the servo arm here, that is plastic, but all the running hardware all the hardware for it looks nice and solid. Again, lock nuts here. Look at the size of that steering rod. That's pretty cool. All right, now I think we can get into the electronics, and we'll start off with the servo since we're back here. This is the S904. This is in some of the low-C ready-to-run large-scale vehicles. So this thing has a lot of torque, metal gears, and is of course waterproof as well. Like the aluminum center section on that, very cool. Inside we have the Spectrum receiver that is a telemetry capable receiver. Let me just pop the top of this so you can see it. There is the receiver in there, really easy to bind, plenty of open channels if you expand it for any reason, or maybe use the system in another boat. But the antenna wire comes out through this fuel tubing, and they do supply a regular plastic antenna in the kit as well. All right, time to get onto the, motor. Let's talk about the motor. So it is a 1350 kV motor, really large can. I mean, let me put my hand up against it so you can see the size of that. Huge can. Has the sleeve on here for water cooling, 10 gauge wire coming off that bad boy. This motor is over 5 horsepower. It's rated to 5+ horsepower. So I think we're gonna see plenty of rip out of this thing when you just punch it out of the hole. That'll be pretty cool. And here we have a Smart Technology Spectrum 160 amp speed controller. Look at the size of the capacitors on that thing. It is wired as well with 10 gauge wire, EC5 connectors. Really cool looking. There is the on-off switch. Pretty accessible, even though you do have to take the canopy off, obviously, to get to it. But it is right there, nice and easy to get to. And again, it is water cooled and will handle the power of 8S. Just really incredible. Good looking stuff here. I like the way this boat looks. I think they did a great job with all the details on it. The Blackjack name is really familiar. A lot of people love this style of boat, this style of catamaran. Now I'll show you what else is in the box. It comes with an instruction manual, of course. Definitely read through that. Some basic Allen wrenches, an antenna tube, 4 AA batteries, and the Spectrum DX3 transmitter. This is a great ready-to-run transmitter. Really comfortable, and when you use it with the Spectrum batteries, you'll be able to see the battery level right here on this main screen. This is really cool. These LED lights basically indicate percentages, so 100%, 75, 50, 25. So when you get down here, you know you got to bring your boat back to shore. Your batteries are going to die pretty soon. But it has your basic trim functions, and then it also comes with some decals. So if you want to add these to your boat, make it look a little different from the box art, you could do that. Now I'm going to go run it on the Spectrum equipment, of course, because I want to be able to use that battery meter. So I've got the Spectrum S2200 charger, really cool charger. All all you have to do is plug in your Spectrum batteries. It charges it immediately. You don't even have to touch any buttons. And I'm going to use the Spectrum G2 5000 milliamp 50C batteries. Obviously 2 of them, so we have 8S. I'll put links to everything down in the description below. But now it's time to go out and run this beast. All right, guys, I'm on my second round of packs. Let me start the stopwatch on my phone and take this thing for another rip. It has been absolutely awesome. All right, there we go. Watch this. Let's get away from the shore. Let it calm down a bit. Watch this thing blast out of the hole. Yeah. That is some power on that blackjack. Woo! Still a little afraid to pull on this thing. This thing is just wicked fast. A little windy, so I gotta watch it. Getting a little air under the boat there. Whoa! Oh, I got the batteries a little farther back. I wanted to get some more speed out of it. Whoa! Man, that thing rips. It sounds so cool on the water. Whoa! Oh, ooh. I just lucked out big time because all I have is a fishing pole to get this thing. I'm gonna take it easy. It's just a little too windy for it here. But man, that's half throttle right there, guys. Here we go. Yeah, that's still about half throttle. My heart's pounding. I don't want to rip on it again. I think the batteries need to be a little bit farther forward. I have it in the middle of the rear straps. I think that's a little too much for it. But it's easy to steer. A little bit of wag. But man, if I had just a little smoother water, no wind. Oh, the wind just picked up. I had to back out. Sorry. Oh, I want to show you guys more. What's really cool is the battery alarm on the transmitter. Seeing the LED lights. Yeah, you guys could see the chop on the water there. The wind's just kind of disrupting my flow. It's killing me. All right, let me do a full rip. There we go. I got on it for a little bit there. I gotta watch it coming back. I think that's where the wind's really killing me. All right, let's pull it. There we go, full throttle, full throttle. Yeah. Woo. Guys, my heart is absolutely racing with this boat. The size, the sound, the speed. Oh, look at that, look at that. My hand is literally shaking at this point. This is doing its job. You know what its job is? just awesome RC boating. That's what it is. Look at that. Yeah. Oh. So cool. Yeah, it just wants to get up and out of the water going that way. All right, full rip again. Full rip, full rip, full rip. Nice. I don't want to go too far out there just in case it goes over. I don't want to swim that much. Woo. All right, it's got to come at us. Ready for this? Yeah. All right, I'll come at us this way so you guys can see it. I'll get down so you get a better view. Look at this. Now my heart is really racing. Killer. Absolutely killer. You're just a general boat enthusiast, you're gonna love it. I think our hardcore boat enthusiasts are gonna really like it too. Man. Wind's picked up. I gotta take it easy. All right, one more rip here. One more rip. Here we go. Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's enough for today. I gotta go back out with this. I'll do another video on it. But let's head back to the workshop and talk about the performance. All right, so we're gonna call that a first run on this boat. I was able to run 2 sets of packs through it, and this thing is a water rocket. Obviously, you guys saw it out there. You heard me in the action portion of the video. My heart is still racing from it, and that was just an hour ago when I was driving it. This thing is absolutely insane. Just the size of it, the sound coming off of the boat, the speed out of it is incredible. I think they did a great job with this boat. You know, now breaking things down, it is fast, obviously, and it gets some air under it, and it starts to ride on the prop as it should, but it does kind of walk a little bit. I am not a pro boat racer, but I have been a boat enthusiast for I don't know how many years at this point, well over 20, 25 years. So I like to just go out and have fun with boats. I don't tune boats, and for me, this was absolutely awesome. I think for the general enthusiast, you are going to have a blast with it. You just keep pumping batteries into this thing, and you go out and have fun with it. For those guys that are looking for the intense speed runs, looking to break a world record, I don't know, this boat maybe with some tweaks will get up to some pretty high speeds beyond what it's listed on the box, but I think this was plenty fast. And as you saw over there, when the wind did get under it, it was pretty light feeling, so I would have to settle it back down a lot. But I think, you know, you can really run this thing at a high rate of speed. In the corners, it seems to be really settled in the corners, really cuts through the water when you back off on the throttle. You know, if you turn too tight, obviously it will hook on you, drop off a plane, you got to get it going again. But you know, I showed you guys me punching it right off the line and just a little bit of choppy water. It gets right up and out really easily, and it's just a great boat to drive. When your heart is racing when you're done running it, you know the product is a lot of fun. And like I said, I really was excited when I was driving this thing for both packs. I ran 2 Spectrum 50C packs at first, ran them towards the front. There's 3 straps in total, so I used the front 2 straps. That put more weight on the front, made the boat handle a bit better. And then when I had the camera on my head, when I was talking to you about the drive, I had the batteries towards the back, so I get more weight off towards the back and let this thing ride on the prop. And that's when things are a little bit more sketchy. But speed-wise, I did have a speed meter in there, and for that area, I was able to get it up to 51 miles an hour. And you guys saw I was basically chopping the throttle and wasn't letting this thing get up to full speed. I think the 55 plus is definitely there. But for that area with the conditions, I was not comfortable getting it to that point. So that's why I said it's a first run before. I want to go back out with this thing for some more fun. And of course, I'll bring along my speed meter and a video camera to show you guys in a follow-up video. Complaints about it. Don't really have any complaints. There was a little bit of water inside, and you know, it's a boat, so you just use the drain plug to get rid of the water. Runtime about 7 minutes. That's what I had on my phone for the second pack when I was running it. And I think that's reasonable for a boat of this size. So I had 2 sets of packs, and packs are expensive, but if you want big, fast fun, your run times may vary. Again, it depends on how you throttle the thing. If you're non-stop speed runs, it may be 6 minutes. If you're easy on the throttle, you maybe get 8 minutes out of it. Temperature wise, I was able to hold my hand on the motor and on the speed controller without a problem. The packs were actually the warmest, the 50C packs were the warmest of the electronics that were inside the boat. Speaking of the battery meter is genius. The radio started beeping at me when the batteries were low, and I knew then and there to bring it back to shore, and I didn't have to go swimming after it, didn't have to take out my fishing pole, anything like that. So that right there is a bonus. That is an awesome feature. I hope they put that on all of their boats in the future. That would be really cool. But I flipped this thing over. You guys saw that, and nothing to report, no cracks, no damage or anything like that. Did run it up on rocks when I brought it back to shore. Just a light little scuff on the bottom of it, but that's it. It's good, guys. This is a fast, fun boat. Again, if you're looking for just some killer water action this summer, this is a boat to get. This is a fun boat. Let me know what you think about the Pro Boat Blackjack 42 in the comment section below. Again, we'll have a follow-up video for you, and if you want me to do anything for that follow-up video, put it in the comment section below as well. While you're there, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell, throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.